Malise Ruthven, Fundamentalism, a very short introduction. Welcome to the world of Fundamentalism, a very short introduction by Malise Ruthven. This book summary offers a concise exploration of the global phenomenon of fundamentalism and its effects on society, politics, and religious beliefs. From the rise of the Christian fundamentalist movement in the US to the various expressions of Islamic fundamentalism, this summary will delve into how these religious beliefs often focus on literal interpretation of texts and revolve around tradition. Discover the various ways fundamentalism has impacted global events, examine the dilemmas inherent in religious pluralism, and understand the relationship between fundamentalism and modernity.
Modern fundamentalism. Fundamentalism is not only religious but also political and social. With the advent of globalization, the fundamentalist movements have emerged and challenged the traditionalist worldviews. Accommodating modernity, pluralism among fundamentalists has led to alliances between groups with differing agendas. However, the choice inherent in pluralism clashes with absolute belief, a fundamentalist tenet. With new versions replacing political fundamentalism in modern times, fundamentalism now encompasses activities beyond religion. While some movements recognize religious pluralism, it is mostly for political purposes. Fundamentalism, a way of being. Fundamentalism began with Protestantism's literal interpretation of the Bible and has evolved into a way of being for various religions. The term first referred to Islam in 1937 and was originally used as an anti-colonial movement. Fundamentalists have a common tendency towards literalism and, often, a resistance to modernity. There is a fine line between traditionalists and fundamentalists, with the former being versed in their religion's original thought and behavior, while the latter seeks separate identities, even in the face of a secular, modern world. The conflicts arising from fundamentalist intransigence are many and varied, ranging from the Arab-Israeli conflict to the Scopes trial in Tennessee in 1925. The impact of traditionalism on women. Traditionalism poses significant challenges for women due to the strict control over their sexuality. Studies have shown that the cultural practice of controlling women's sexuality is prevalent in both past and present societies. This includes beliefs in religious nationalism that inflate nationalist rhetoric by giving it a cosmic dimension. Traditional practices such as sati, the immolation of widows, dowry murders, and killing of female babies, persist even though they have been outlawed for centuries. These beliefs are anti-feminist and are still considered a way to achieve a higher spiritual rank. However, the role of sexual morality has a direct link to family values as argued in traditional religions. Consequently, women have tried to modify religion to gain more participatory rights in traditional religious practices. This assertion is shown in the emergence of feminist movements in various countries like Japan, Iran, Sri Lanka, among others. Although some women also actively participate in fundamentalist religious movements to preserve the traditional family due to economic necessity. Fundamentally incompatible. Religious fundamentalism and nationalism clash, resulting in violence and dislocation, in a world in which postmodernism and modern technology challenge traditional beliefs. When countries link fundamentalism to their identities, it becomes even more potent. Religious zealots often misunderstand political policies, interpreting them as being in line with God's will, and traditionalists and political nationalists frequently collide on this issue. This fundamentalist approach does away with religious pluralism, an unavoidable feature of modernity. Religious nationalists tend to base their political agendas on fundamentalist interpretations, which puts them at odds with other groups. Democracy is often regarded as an alien concept because it was developed by Greeks or infidels. Fundamentalist religious movements replace governments perceived as corrupt, but they can also impose cultural and religious conformity over economic advancements. They reduce opportunities for negotiation, making both sides more inflamed and intractable. Violence is often the result. Examples of religiously inspired assassinations include Yitzhak Rabin, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and Anwar al-Sadat. It is ironic that these assassinations occurred as byproducts of social and individual dislocations resulting from modernization, a process that inspired fundamentalist movements. Postmodernism is one reason for rising religiosity. It is based on relativism and a belief in individual control over one's destiny, which conflicts with traditionalists' adherence to one truth, divinely revealed. Traditionalists prefer boundaries that separate them from non-believers and modern society's temptations. This self-imposed alienation inadvertently creates new orthodoxies, which propose new solutions to old problems. Religious institutions renew themselves by acting as spiritual and social hubs. Modern telecommunications play a role in religious fundamentalism as well. Charismatic leaders such as Osama bin Laden use media and the internet to reach a wider audience, especially in places with high illiteracy rates. Videos that show cultural conflicts can inflame political sentiments. However, the web's interactivity tempers these messages with opposing views. Looking forward, modern technologies, satellite broadcasting, the internet, and individual choice will be significant counterbalances to fundamentalist forces. It is essential to understand the negative impact of religious fundamentalism on society's progress and strive for cultural and religious pluralism.
In conclusion, Fundamentalism, a very short introduction, provides an insightful analysis of the complex nature of fundamentalist beliefs and practices throughout the world. At its core, fundamentalism is rooted in strong convictions, literal interpretation of religious texts, and resistance to modernity. The summary explores the impact of fundamentalism on society, politics, and religious thought. Despite the various challenges posed by globalization, pluralism, and technology, fundamentalism continues to persist and adapt. As we proceed into a world marked by rapid change, the outcome of this ongoing battle between tradition and modernity remains uncertain.